Video blog Neo-Evolutionism. Neo-evolutionism is a social theory that tries to explain the evolution of society that was introduced first to us by Charles Darwin and later developed a little further by Herbert Spencer. The name neo-evolutionism implies that this is something new. Harvey Finberg said it's an evolution that is guided and chosen by us. Daniel Kraft agreed and described it as a direct evolution as well. Paul Whoop also stated he thought there were three ways of evolution: the Darwin evolution being passive, civilization, in which we change our environment and we change our evolution, and direct evolution, an intentional design and altering of the physiology forms that inhabit our planet. The primary tenets of the neo-evolutionism are variation, the traits and individuals of a species are slightly different; inheritance, these traits and individuals that we pass on to our offspring; competition, individuals in a species compete for survival and reproduction; and then conclusion, natural selection, those individuals born with traits that give them advantage in survival and reproduction and will on average leave more offspring with those traits. An example of a technology that is altering or may alter human evolution is the Human Genome Project. We are created from reproduction at this moment, but this type of technology has given us the ability to map the human genome and has led to a fundamental understanding of how genes affect disease, which in turn lead to new drugs, to individually designed treatment plans, and perhaps to the correction of gene flaws before birth. Having the essential complete sequence of the human genome is similar to having all the pages of a manual needed to make the human body. Doctors sometimes make use of the genetic test to identify telltale DNA changes that can signal different diseases. For example, gene tests can distinguish between different forms of leukemia. This then gives the doctor the correct treatment plan for that particular individual. When my father was first diagnosed with leukemia, it was done so by the count of his white blood cells. The doctor still wanted to know, did he have AMR, ALL, to make his specific treatment work best for him. However, the test results were going to take days to come back. So hopefully one day this will allow us to make those diagnoses immediately, have a treatment plan that is best for that person, and it might even help us one day understand what causes the mutation in this specific gene and then know how to undo that said mutation. An article written by The Economist in 2010 concerning the human genome was titled "And Man-Made Life. Artificial life, the stuff of dreams and nightmares, has arrived." The article stated that on the face of it, artificial life looks like a wonderful thing. Yet, that is not how many will view the announcement. For them, a better word than creation will be tampering. The topic of the Human Genome Project is so polarizing because many of those opposed see it as a genetic modification that is ruining the natural process or the natural sequence of things. Another article I found on the Human Genome Project was by the Wilson Center, and it read in part, "As a society, we also will be confronted with the ethical issues that often occur when diagnostic tools are turned in to discriminatory instruments for screening people, or when the therapeutic techniques are applied to the enhancement of individual capabilities or traits." So I think this is where the issue with this particular project comes in. At some point, there's going to be someone in charge who's going to say, are you worth saving? Are you smart enough? Are you pretty enough? Are you young enough? Do you have the right body figure? Are you of the right race? Will we use this like genocide? Another thing the article went on that I thought was interesting is that they said these things will happen. If not here in the United States, then other countries with lax ethical standards or different cultural attitudes towards such technological interventions. Something else it said was, innovation works best when it's a game that anyone can play. And I think there's too many questions involved with this one. There'll be too many what ifs, or what if it gets in the wrong hands, for this one to play out safely. It said the more ideas there are, the better the chance some will prosper. Unfortunately and inevitably, some of those ideas will be malicious. And the problem with malicious biological inventions, unlike, say, guns and explosives, is that once released, they can breed by themselves. I don't think this project should be continued. I think that when we have the entire manual to the human body, we will then have too much power. What happens to the natural selection? What happens to those things in life that are supposed to die and go on and new life be created? How much damage will we make when we can choose what we want, that we only want boys who are of this intelligence and who look like this? Will we not all then look and act alike? We'll ask a question as well. What is our responsibility? And I think our responsibility is too great. We'll all end up being almost like robots that all look the same, that have the same intelligence. There'll be no weaker, there'll be no stronger. Everyone will be the same. So that's my conclusion on neoevolution.